Hello and welcome to another episode of Gaming Chat. Looks like Xbox has released their official Xbox podcast on what's going on in the future. So let's start checking that out. Hopefully my sync will be good. Alright, here we go. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully I'm recording.
Hello and welcome
shit.
to the official Xbox podcast. I'm your host, Tina Amini, and we have a very special episode today, as you can probably tell by the fact that I'm joined by Phil, Sarah, and Matt. Welcome. And we're going to talk about some updates at Xbox. We want to talk about game exclusivity.
Right.
We want to talk about Activision Blizzard, now that they're part of our portfolio, how that
I should have
might
done
be an
this like
impact
a
on
week
Game
ago,
Pass.
maybe a
And
month
we want to talk
ago.
about hardware, too, and
Something.
how all of this fits into the strategy at Xbox. So where should we start, Phil?
Well, when we originally had planned for the show, starting back in December, I think we probably would have started with Activision Blizzard, maybe talked a little bit about the exclusivity with some of the news coming up, and then hardware.
That would have helped.
But we've
Yes.
had some unforeseen news that has come out. So let's just go and tackle the exclusivity question, because I know it's on the minds of a
Here
lot
we
of
go.
people. We hear from the
Big
community, and that's
moment for your
important input
Xbox.
for us. So we made the decision that we're going to take 4 games to the other
Okay.
consoles, just 4 games, not a change to our kind of fundamental exclusive strategy.
Okay,
It
which
is-
ones are they?
We're making these decisions for some specific reasons.
Hi-Fi
We
Rush,
make
Sea of
every
Thieves.
decision really with the long-term health of Xbox in mind. And long-term health of Xbox means a growing platform, our games performing, building the best platform for creators, reaching as many players as we can. We're always looking to learn as a leadership team.
Okay,
and
so
to grow.
definitely
We
Sea
think
of
this is
Thieves,
an
it sounds
interesting
like,
point
because
in
that's going to
time
get more
for us
players.
to use what some of the other platforms have right now to help grow our franchises. So we're going to do that.
So these 4 titles, what are they? Can you say?
I'm not going to name those games. The teams
Oh,
that
come
are building those
on.
games have announced plans that are not too far away. As we know, game teams put a lot of energy into their announcements.
So
with
they're not going to
partners.
announce what the exclusives
I don't
are
want to take anything
being
away
released.
from those teams. So I won't be talking
Well,
about
I guess that's a good
titles
idea.
specifically, but I think when they come out, it'll make sense.
Can we say if either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
Well, what was the criteria
Take that, ponies.
in how the team was thinking about selecting those 4 titles?
Let me start a little bit outside of that, and then I'll get to the
So,
4 specific games. that we're talking
Starfield
about right
and
now.
Indie is still
'Cause
Xbox
the fundamental
exclusive.
decision
So
driver for
that should
any
be
decision
upsetting to
that
some
we
people.
make, anything we're going to talk about today, is the long-term health of Xbox. That we're running a growing platform.
So
that
still
helps reach
likely
more
Hi-Fi
players,
Rush, Sea of
that our
Thieves, and
games
at
are
least
having
2
as much
more.
success as possible. And I do have a fundamental belief that over the next 5 or 10 years, exclusive games that are exclusive to one piece of hardware, are going to be a smaller and smaller part of the game industry. And that's not some great insight, because if you look at the last 10 years and what the biggest games are today, it's a natural place. Whether it's one console and PC, multiple consoles, mobile console and PC, you see big games landing on multiple platforms. And we want to be a great platform for creators that are trying to realize that potential. But now back to the specifics of the question on these four specific titles. We looked at games that are over a year old, so they've been on Xbox and PC for a while.
So it's gotta
A
be
couple of the games are community.
the 2 I kept saying.
New games that kind of first iterations of a franchise that have reached their full potential, I'd say, on Xbox and PC. There's always growth. Franchises that we obviously want to continue to invest in. Part of having the ability to continue to invest is that the businesses behind those franchises continue. I think
So
it's
it
important
sounds
to
like
be service-based games that have
potentially
communities behind them,
Halo.
that they can have confidence that they're going to exist in the future. So 2 of them, kind of community-driven games that will end up on other platforms and give us the ability to continue to invest in them. We think that's great for the business and
So
great for the community.
Sea of
More
Thieves,
players.
potentially Halo.
I'd say 2 of the other games are
Community-driven.
smaller games that were never really meant to be built as kind of platform exclusives and all the fanfare that goes around that. But games that our teams really wanted to go build, that we love supporting creative endeavors across our studios, regardless of size.
Likely Hi-Fi Rush.
And as
I
they've
don't know
realized
what
their
the
full
other one
potential
would
on
be.
Xbox and PC, we see an opportunity to utilize the other platforms as a place to just drive more business value out of those games, allowing us to invest in maybe future iterations of those, so sequels to those, or just other games like that in our portfolio. And when we don't damage Xbox and we can grow our business using what other platforms have and to help us with that, we're going to do that. And that's really the story behind these 4 games. And last thing I'll say, looking forward, I think there is an interesting story for us of introducing Xbox franchises to players on
Xbox
other
King.
platforms.
What does this
to
shirt
get them
say?
more interested in Xbox.
Oh,
we think
it's
there's a good
it's the
brand
company
value
names.
for
Okay.
Xbox there. So 4 games, no promise beyond that. So if you're on those other platforms and you see these 4 games coming, please don't take it as some signal that everything's coming. It's not. And we're going to
Yeah.
learn.
So when you are thinking about the future and this concept
Yeah, I
of
don't know
live
why some
service
people
games,
thought
games that can benefit from
everything is
bigger
gonna be going to other
audiences, new
systems.
audiences, how does that apply to future titles and how you're applying that criteria there?
Yeah, there's really no fundamental change to how we think about exclusivity. We just came out of Developer Direct, which was an awesome show, where we showed great games that are coming to Xbox and PC and cloud, which really makes them accessible to hundreds of millions of people. So it's this kind of, we're really focused on a couple platforms and what's going to show up there. But our key of play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere
Yes,
you want, when
yes.
everybody plays, we all win. These have been part of our
Yes.
strategy for years and will continue to be. Our focus is on how do we continue to grow the games industry by reaching more players in more places, and how do we grow Xbox as part of that. Xbox is a hardware platform, Xbox is a publisher of great games, and Xbox as a platform for the world's best creators.
And then knowing that, how do we think about our
So notice there
first-party
wasn't any
games
mention
and
of
Game
other
Pass?
consoles
Yeah, well, to
in that
build
speech.
on
But
what Phil just said, one thing I would add was you were talking about
every
growth,
screen is an
just that,
Xbox, or every
we've
Xbox is
sort
going
of
over
seen
the.
this inversion over the
That's
last
more
5
I
years
see
where
as
it used to be that the
PC,
platform was
mobile,
the biggest thing.
That's
cloud
and the
stuff.
games would sort of tuck in within
But
the platform.
I will-
Today,
let's wait
big
until-
games like a Roblox or a Fortnite could actually be bigger than any one platform, and that really has changed the way that we think about things.
Wonder
So in the
how many
midst of all
takes they
that,
had to do with
I
all
think
this.
we at First Party can come back to sort of some core principles. First, that all of our games will be on the Xbox platform. Second, all of our games will go into Game Pass on day 1. And third, we know that Game Pass will only be available on Xbox. So there's sort of
Boom.
starting points for us. As Phil mentioned, there are games today that you can play that only can be found on Xbox. And at the same time, we want to bring more of our games to more players. So we're going to continue to look at that. Kind of moving aside, though, from some of those and thinking more about what does it really mean for the player, to me, the 2 key things are cross-play and cross-save. Those
Yeah.
things allow us to deliver on the promise of
Some games are
Xbox,
definitely- that's
which is
very
Play
helpful.
with your friends where they are, play on the devices you want, play the games
No,
you want.
Ubisoft's done that
is
with
really
Assassin's
only
Creed
possible
Valhalla.
At a practical level when you know that your saves and your player are going to be able to move across all those parts. So not all of our games today are necessarily built to take advantage of that. There still will be some games that don't. As we bring more teams into the Xbox family, there's some catch up to do as we get there. But that cross-play, cross-save is like so fundamental to what we're doing, and I think is something that we as First Party get such a good benefit from being so close to the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things, like you said, all of our games are always in Game Pass. And so I'm excited to announce, with the coming together that we had with Activision Blizzard King, that Activision and Blizzard games are coming to Game Pass, starting with Diablo 4 on March 28th, which I'm super
Oh, good, 'cause I
super
don't wanna pay
excited
for
to
that
share
shit.
today. And it's all part of our
I
commitment
wanted to try
make
it, but I don't want to
Xbox,
pay for it because
the
it looks
Xbox
like
experience
shit.
and the games that we build as widely available as possible. So now the 34 million Game Pass members can all enjoy the fantastic experience of Diablo 4.
Amazing. Can we come
So
back
what
to the
about
point,
older
Phil, you
games?
mentioned at the top, this isn't really a change in strategy for us. Can you recap for me how it isn't?
Yeah, and I thought both Matt and Sarah did a really nice job of talking about what we're doing on Xbox, where we're going. If you take a platform feature like Xbox Play Anywhere, which has been a promise
Yeah,
that we've
that's-
made on our first party
that's the
games,
cloud
that you can buy
service.
our game once, you're going to play across Xbox and Windows. I think we're the only platform that does this. That makes it possible for you not only to play with your
Yep.
friends wherever they are, but to know that you actually have multiple entitlements to the games. I think that's a technology I would love to see applied to more platforms. But it is this view
They should take advantage.
that people are going to play Xbox in multiple places. Whether it's play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want.
Tablets, phone.
Whether it's content, community, and cloud. Whether it's when everybody plays, we all win. Like, we've had different taglines, different strategy, kind of.
Still not
words
mentioning
that we've
the
used, but
consoles
always
getting
with
Game
this
Pass,
view
and they said they'd not.
that
So
Xbox is a platform for creators who want to reach the most players. Our investments in xCloud, our investments in franchises like Minecraft and now Call of Duty and other large franchises, so that we learn how to build those. This has been a strategy that we've been on for, I'd say, a decade. It's not about one device. It's not about games in service of a device, but rather the devices that people want to play on should be in service of making the games as big and popular as they possibly could be. Because really, a healthy creator community on Xbox, a healthy creator community in gaming all up, is the thing that all of us as game players should be voting for, because that's the thing that will lead to the best long-term success and growth in this industry.
And my understanding, just from listening and learning from you three over the past few weeks, just understanding what's happening with Xbox, is that we see trends with player
Excuse me.
behavior where people are playing on multiple devices. That is the reality. And we have
Yeah.
put some games out on multiple platforms before. So my understanding is that that's been good for players. How does that come back to the business with all of that in mind?
Yeah, as you said, we
yeah,
have
but I'm sure a
shipped
lot of
games
people,
on
like
other
myself, would
platforms. In
prefer
fact,
one console.
Realistically, if you look,
I mean,
with
I know
the
that's not
addition
gonna
of
happen,
Activision
but-
and Blizzard and ZeniMax, we're one of the largest game publishers on PlayStation. We're one of the largest publishers on the Nintendo Switch, especially when you put Minecraft into the equation as well. And now we're one of the largest publishers on mobile platforms as well. And that's
Well, I don't
not
have the
something that we want to
numbers
back
to
away
back
from.
that up,
We want to
but
continue
I'm
to be
pushing
building
exit out.
great games that millions and millions of people can love, and that they can play those games where they want to go play. But we do understand the business success that Xbox has to have. Us
Yeah.
as leaders in this business, the system today,
Business.
the system that all companies that we play video games from, is a world of you got to be growing your business. Growth in our
business.
Xbox business is critical
Sorry.
to the long-term health of Xbox.
You say it's business.
Many people
Funny.
know I've been on Xbox for over 20 years, and I want to make sure Xbox is in the best position for the next 20 years. That means healthy player community, healthy creator
Yay.
community, and healthy
Good.
business. So when we
Yeah.
look at opportunities
Yeah.
to allow more people to play, more people engage, more people to buy, more people to subscribe, it's all about putting Xbox in the best position. And our hardware is a critical component of that. The absolute best experience somebody has on Xbox is hardware that
Yeah.
your team builds and that people play on. But that's not going to be everybody. We fully accepted that we're going to have Xbox players across all kinds of devices.
So I think a lot of people think about 2023 as this incredible year for gaming, and in a lot of ways it was. There were some really amazing releases that I think we all enjoyed. But what were the signals behind the scenes that maybe indicated how we wanted to look at the future of Xbox and how we kind of keep up with the industry?
Yeah, such a good question. And I think it's, as people who care about the industry, which I assume is people who are watching this, it was an amazing year. Some great launches, some of the games that I think will stand the test of time and people will be talking about.
But
a decade from
Xbox
now.
has no
But it's an
games,
industry
Phil.
that didn't really grow. And what happens when an industry doesn't grow? You end up with some
Nothing
job
happens.
eliminations, which we had. We had even our own hard decisions to make about building a sustainable business for ourselves, but in no way were we alone in that. When you think about a healthy industry, I want players who believe that they will find the best games on the platforms that they love. I want people who invest their careers in working here to feel like this is a place that
Well, how many
they
people are
can
gonna
be successful.
bash him for
And that really is down to
2,000
being
people
part of
let
an
go
industry
after
that
the
is growing.
merger?
If you listen to Lisa Su, the AMD CEO, she'll say that AMD-powered consoles are likely to decline in 2024. I think there's an amazing set of games coming in 2024, but if we don't
There are,
get to grow
on all
as
systems.
an industry, the industry will struggle. And today there's really two choices on how do you grow the industry. Do you say I have a fixed number of players, the players that we have today, and do I find new ways to monetize those players to get more money from the players that I have? Or do you think about how do I expand the business that I
Yeah,
have
but you're gonna-
by finding new players?
You're gonna
and adding
find
those
ways to take
the
our
base
money
of players
anyway.
that already play. Our focus on Xbox for the last decade has really been on that latter point of how do we make sure Xbox is growing for our players, growing for our creators, so those people are finding success on our platform, which will grow the Xbox business and put Xbox in a position to be very strong for years and decades to come.
Matt, earlier you were talking about these growing
So it sounds like
gaming
they're not
communities,
concerned
how they're
about
incredibly large.
outpacing Sony and Nintendo. They're
comparable
more
on
focused
such a
on
different
doing
level when we think
creator
about
stuff.
console
So
audiences, like you mentioned Roblox, you mentioned
probably
Fortnite.
that's
So
why they're saying
how
the
are
console war's
we're
over
obviously
for them.
thinking about our responsibility, our hardware responsibility is supporting the growth of gaming communities. How has that actually shown up for the players? Are there other games we can speak to from our portfolio?
Well, as Phil mentioned, I mean, two of the biggest ones for us, Call of Duty and Minecraft, I mean, they are driven just from the bottom up by the communities of people that play those games.
Yes.
Which is so great. I think,
Especially Minecraft.
think about it, for the player community,
Call of
it
Duty
comes
too.
down
I'm
to
not
where
big
are the
into it
friends,
anymore,
where are the
but
people you play with, and then equally important is where have you built up your library of games, right? Where have you
definitely
invested? Where's
Xbox.
that library?
It's
I
had
think
that the longest.
those two things probably are some of the biggest influences on where people choose to play and what devices they choose
Absolutely.
to play.
Yeah.
When we think about, on the other side, the developer side, just any game developer wants their game to find the biggest audience possible. That's just the nature of building a game. You want people to enjoy and participate in what you've made. And I think we're in a unique position to deliver on that just because we are the platform. We build hardware, we've got a first-party games group, and then we've got a system that ties that together, that brings together your friends, your progression, your achievements, all of that. And I think that's really what has contributed to
I don't
the
give a shit
momentum
about
on some of
achievements.
these communities.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at, just step back and you look at the history of the industry, we've moved from a place where it used to be that someone built and launched a game to accelerate hardware to actually the things we do with our hardware and with our platform are all in service of making those games bigger. And we think about that across all
Bigger
of the
isn't
investments
necessarily
we make,
better.
the consoles we build, the investments we do with things like cross-play, cross-progression, the things that we're
Look at
doing with
Starfield.
cloud. How do we actually
It's a
give
big
more
game, but
options
there's
to
not
game creators so they can have the
shit
greatest
ton to
success?
do in it.
I think one of the fun recent examples about this is actually Power World. You know, Power World was able to launch, they were a game preview, they launched in Game Pass, they also simultaneously
Heard
launched
great
in Steam.
numbers
so
for
the
that.
combination of those things,
Personally, I've
you know,
not been
Pocket
interested
Pair
in
was
it.
able to have this outsized success. And it was the largest
Oh,
third-party
could Power
Game
World be
Pass
going?
launch
No,
ever.
they said they weren't.
And that's
Okay,
all
never
because we
mind.
give creators options on how they can launch their games. We've got subscription,
not
we've got
yet.
retail, we've got free-to-play, we've got game preview, we have the consoles, we have our experience on PC, and they can access all of those things. And when we step back and we just look at the performance of our platform all up, we know it's working. We're at the highest level of users on console, the highest level of users on PC, the highest level of users on cloud ever. We have double-digit growth rate on PC and cloud, places where we're enabling creators to actually
Well,
reach
PC
new
doesn't have
players
much-
beyond the
I mean,
console ecosystem. And that's why we're leaning into it. and
because
doing more,
Microsoft
because we see all those
is
signals.
putting more
So we're
of their
talking
games
about
on
the role
PC.
that hardware plays for
I don't know if they're
creators,
number
for the
one
games and those communities.
via,
What
like,
about the
Steam
role
or
that
even
hardware plays
Epic,
for
but
us as a business for Xbox?
Again, I don't
when
have
we
the
look
numbers.
at our hardware,
so
it
could be.
really is, and Phil said this earlier, it's where you get like the most flagship seminal experience of Xbox. And it also represents a developer target. Our developers
How many
build
fucking
the specs
camera
of our
angles do you
hardware,
need?
And we invest to make sure they know when they do that the games are going to go great on our hardware, but they're also going to be able to be accessed across any screen because of all the other investments we make. So we're giving them an easy way to access as many players as possible. And we actually have more creators
still
right
nothing
now
about
building
going to
for
PlayStation
Xbox
or
than ever
Nintendo.
before, by nature,
Yeah.
thousands
Every
of
screen
them,
is
by
still
nature of those investments.
mobile,
And we got more to come. There's
tablets,
some exciting stuff
and
coming out in
PC,
hardware.
Xbox.
We're
I
going to
still
share this holiday.
haven't said,
And
hey, we're going.
also invested in the next generation roadmap. And what we're really focused on there
Haven't heard
is
anything about
delivering
them
the
putting
largest
shit
technical
more
leap
stuff
we'll have
on
ever
PlayStation,
seen in a
Nintendo
hardware
besides the
generation,
4.
which makes it better for players and better for creators and the visions that they're building.
And then when we're talking about hardware too, there's these other considerations that are really important to our community, probably to each one of ourselves as well. When you talk about library, because I want to dig in on that a little bit more. You know, as we talk about cloud and the wider entertainment
they
industry,
looking
there's
comfortable?
conversations about streaming. How is that impacting how I own my content that I've invested in? So what can we say about our stance around game preservation?
Yeah, you know, one of the highlights for me of being in this position was getting to stand on stage when we announced the back compat coming to Xbox One. Like, it was fantastic. People were reading the teleprompter before I could read.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, reader, and just feeling the energy.
And PlayStation's doing
in
a
the-
really bad
in
job
the,
doing that
in the
with
auditorium
that.
as we were
This
saying that in on
different fucking price
one
levels
of the cues I
pissing me
think
off
us
still.
as being part of Microsoft take is looking at Windows and how Windows over decades has maintained software compatibility with things that are built on it. Like, I can still go back and play some of the games that I love playing on Windows from decades
Yep.
ago, and it will still run. And we
That was
try
always
to
a good
bring
thing.
that same view to consoles. It's harder in console because the line between what the hardware is and what the game is in consoles is traditionally it's tighter,
More
which
limited.
makes compatibility. You end up doing these generational compatibilities that we've built. But I will say compatibility, the ability to not only play the games, but my saves are still there with our cloud save
Yep.
systems
Yeah.
to try to keep the services up as long as we can so that people can play, is a tenet of what we are as Xbox. It's at our foundation. And when we look at
I wish
future
Sony
hardware
would
generations and
work
what we're
on
going
that.
to support, making sure that we respect, which is the word I
Either
use,
put it-
respect the investment.
Put it like a backwards only slot for the PS Plus, or lower the fucking prices. Holy shit.
And Xbox also means you have the ability to play that game across a multitude of devices, which I think furthers the compatibility of the games that you own.
Can we go back to what Xbox stands for today? I think we've pretty much covered all of the elements, but if you could break it down for me.
You know, when you play on Xbox, what we're saying is you're playing on a platform where you know the biggest games in the world are always going to be. You're playing on a platform where you get to access Game Pass.
Still tablet.
And all of the games from our incredible range of studios will always launch in Game Pass day one. And you're playing on a platform
don't-
that's dedicated to
I don't
you,
necessarily
like
see that as a
player-first features.
Perfect thing,
Crossplay,
but it is a great thing. Like for me, because I still have
backwards
Starfield
compatibility,
Game Pass.
being able to play your games in
But
your
I'm
library
thinking about
anywhere
upgrading to
you
own
want
it,
because of the
or
investments
buy
that
it.
we make in cloud gaming. And so you're playing somewhere where you're investing and you know you get to take the games forward with you and across all of the screens where you are. And I think most importantly, Xbox is a place where you know when you're investing in Xbox, you're investing somewhere that is dedicated to making games more successful and creators more successful so that they can invest more to bring even better experiences to you all of the time.
Yeah, just that investment in the studios is so, and we feel that as part of first party with
Excuse
the
me.
platform proximity. You know, it's kind of amazing now to look out across all the studios that we've got and just be reminded that we're now one of the biggest development organizations in the industry. What does that mean for players? It means that the biggest games are going to continue
But I remember,
to come to
if-
Xbox.
I don't think they have the
And,
most
this
studios, but
2024, the year coming up.
could be wrong.
We've got more than 10 major releases coming up. Great stuff. Hellblade
10,
2.
wow.
We've got Diablo expansion. We've got Avowed, Ara, the Indiana Jones game, and there's more in development.
Still not interested in Aura.
I think we're going to be able to share more about it at our June showcase coming up pretty soon.
June.
Well,
Okay,
I guess
cool.
I should get ready to work on that show. Well,
All right,
thank
so
you all for
looks like it's
showing up
wrapping
on
up
the
now.
podcast today, and we'll see the rest of you this June.
Thanks, Tina.
All right.
you.
So, wait for this to end. Okay. I'm going to stop recording. All right, so sounds like everyone's worries are bullshit because I remember seeing all over Twitter hardcore X bots, like hardcore fanboys, really like taking the news that the potential of going third party so much that they actually were selling their Xboxes again, or selling their Xboxes. So I'm wondering if this means they're gonna go, oh my god, I overreacted, and buy Xboxes again. But yeah, who knows? So doesn't sound like they're going third party. 4 games are going to the PlayStation and Nintendo. They didn't say which ones, but they're saying guaranteed it's not Starfield and it's not Indiana Jones. I wonder how many people are going to have shit fits over this. But it sounds like any screen is an Xbox or Xbox on any screen or whatever. They're still not saying they're going over to be on PlayStation or Nintendo besides those 4 games. I don't know why I'm doing the force on one of the fingers. I'm no camera. Anyway, so it sounds like a lot of people just overreacted, overhyped, overlooked everything, and then ran on rumors not shared by proper insiders. So, I mean, I think a lot of people freaked out over nothing. Me personally, as long as Microsoft is still making games, I wouldn't have an issue. But that's just me. I'm more neutral. I'm more of a casual gamer. But yeah, I wouldn't say none of this. I wouldn't say any of this was earth-shattering or makes me lose faith in Xbox. But again, that is just me. I tend to be a little more casual about all of this. So, with that, I do want to say I am finishing up Final Fantasy VII's main game. I'm putting out more videos. Yeah, excuse me. I will be going through Intergrade, and then I will be doing Rebirth. I probably won't have all the remake Intergrade videos out before Rebirth. Who knows, I might, because I don't know how long Intergrade actually is. Been playing through Starfield, as I said. I wouldn't say it's boring, but there's just not a lot to do in it. Definitely not the game of the generation, as someone has said. What else? Oh, I'm going to be going through the Sony stuff in a video as well, just so I can understand it or give my thoughts on it. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for listening. Hopefully the future of gaming isn't going downhill, but improving and all that. And I want to say thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.